Hello and a very warm welcome to the Inspire Sport Netball Europe Under-17 Championship event here in Huddersfield this weekend. This is a new format championships this year with 5 teams competing here over the next 3 days in 10 key matches, 2 of which we've already had. We have England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and they're joined for the first time by the winners of the Netball Europe Under-17 Challenge event in October last year. A warm welcome to Emirates, who have been promoted into the championship for the very first time. They've already come out with a win so far today, winning 44-43 over Netball Northern Ireland this morning at 10 o'clock. It does mean, though, that on Sunday one team will be relegated to the challenge section, so there's all to play for this weekend. As previously said, Emirates beat Northern Ireland this morning 44-43, and we've also seen Scotland versus Wales, with Wales coming out with a 55-46 victory. I'm Natalie Pepperell, and I'm delighted to be joined today in the commentary box by the England Futures and England A coach, and also head coach for Seven Stars, Sam Bird.
Hi Natalie, thanks for having me.
Ready for some great netball action today?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Wales have obviously played today already and played really well, but it's England's first match of the championship, and I'm really excited to see what this England team can do this afternoon.
Okay, so let's take a quick look at the squads that are playing today. So for Wales, starting in goal shooter, we have Charlotte Jennings-Evans. Goal attack, Elise Gallagher. Wing attack and captain, Macy Morgan. Centre, Georgia Hellerman. Wing defence, Lauren Francis. Goal defence, Megan Evans. And goalkeeper, Anna Carter. Then on the bench, we have Esme Cornelius, Victoria Rejniak, Catherine Titley, Sienna Wilkinson and Josie Williams. Head coach for Wales, Rhiann Davis. Assistant coach, Emma Meredith. And assistant coach, Jo Ricketts. And then team manager, Annie Williamson. For England, we have starting at goal shoot, Molly Hull. Goal attack, Berry Neal. Wing attack, Emma Rayner. Centre, Yasmin Roebuck. Wing defence, Stacey Tankua. Goal defence, Ella Bowman. And then goalkeeper, Fumi Fudoju. On the bench, we have Rosie Bartlett, Bella Bayliss, Ella Harding, Grace Rimmer and Emma Thacker. Head coach for England is Victoria Burgess, and then assistant coach is Shona Forbes. Second assistant coach is Sam Griffin. Then team manager Laura McAndrew. So, Sam, you've already seen these teams well. You've seen Wales today and obviously had a little bit of insight into some of the England players. What key matchups do you think will be happening on court today?
Well, I think the Welsh captain was very strong in the last game, the wing attack, and I'm looking to see that contest there, wing attack v wing defence. But the England defenders are very, very strong. I would say Fumi and Ella at the back. A really strong circle defence for England, and I'm expecting quite a lot of interceptions from them. They're strong players, and they're very exciting defending end.
Our umpires today are Lindsay King, Kirsty Campbell, and our reserve umpire is Rhiann Edwards. Just to give you a heads up, you can give us a mention on Twitter, hashtag NEU17champs. We'll try and read out some of your tweets. Some of them that have come in today. Jason McCartney said this morning, thrilling start to Netball Europe Under-17. Catherine Rich, all the way from Switzerland, has tweeted, great game, UAE versus Northern Ireland. Lynn Ryland commenting on Claire Williams' great umpiring, and Becky James commenting on Kirsty Campbell's great umpiring. So tweets coming for the games and for the umpires. So keep those coming through, and we'll see if we can give you some more as we go along. And we are underway with a Wales first centre pass.
And great early pressure there from Stacey Tankua. Good arms over and forcing that error from Wales. And really quick transition into an early goal for England.
Certainly a lot faster than we saw in the Wales-Scotland game so far.
Yeah, and this is a very talented England group here. All of these players are playing in the National Performance League in the England and Wales Super League, and they're strong ball handlers, and they'll contest the ball as well. I think the key thing for them is not to go too quickly, to really look after the possession they earn so that they don't waste the interceptions.
And you spoke a lot this morning about Wales' defence through court. What is it that they need to do against this England squad? Is it any different to what they did against Scotland?
Yeah, I think against this stronger opposition here, I think Wales should just start with a man-to-man, work out their player, or 1v1, work out what their players' strengths and weaknesses are, and just focus on doing their own job really well. I think it's important they try and shut down their own opponent really well to start with.
Quick through court for England, taking the ball to another goal that leaves them 4-0. 1.5 minutes in.
And their body management's very strong. If you watch, they're turning properly in the air, their landing skills are good, and their release points are nice and high, so they're able to deliver that ball really quickly.
I think it's also important to mention that Wales obviously played in the last game that we actually aired, so it's not that much recovery time, is it, to then come up and, you know, after a really strong game against Scotland, really well contested by both teams, to then come out and face England.
Yeah, I think it's really hard, and I think we alluded to that earlier. It's really tough for Wales to get England as their second match when they're fatigued, and Cornelius, who shot for Wales in the first game, appears to be injured for this game, and she was a bit of a star for Wales in the last game, so that's a loss for them as well.
Yeah, Esme Cornelius has also played basketball for Wales, so multi-talented. A bit of footwork there.
So just be interested to see how England deal with the transition when they lose ball. So just good man-to-man tracking there, good pressure on the Welsh side.
Yeah, Stacey Sankura at the moment is doing a really good job against Macy Morgan, who was quite an outstanding player in the first game.
Yeah, she's got lovely speed, and I think that'll be a good match-up, just that physicality against speed. One's more aerial and one's more lateral, so that will be a good match-up, see them work out how to play against each other.
Charlotte Jennings there, unfortunately not managing to convert that possession. Leaves England back in control of the ball.
And good to see Ella Bowen on court. She's recovered from an ACL injury, and she's worked really hard to get back to playing, and good to see her in the goal defence position.
Ella Bowen, also the vice-captain, having returned from an ACL injury.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, really strong interception there from Megan Evans, who also had a really good game in the first game that she played.
She did. She's worked really hard to get her feet round the body for the intercept, so a lot of her challenges are very clean, which makes her a good, effective player for Wales. A lovely tip there from Fumi in at keeper, and she's got fantastic elevation and quick reactions onto the ball, so I think she'll be a real challenge for the Welsh shooters in there.
Yeah, at the moment Wales opting to try and lift it over the defenders. Would you suggest they need to rotate more, come out, play short ball?
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about in the earlier game is just timing their move, and sometimes you've got 2 or 3 players offering for the same ball rather than staggering their movement. So they need to try and remember to do that, the Welsh players, so that there's a clear option for the ball handler.
Oh, really good tip there by Millie Carter back in at goalkeeper. She was a standout player as well in the game against Scotland, wasn't she?
Yeah, she did very well.
Especially considering she was playing against Emma Barry, who was a seasoned athlete
yes.
At a young age, but still lots of experience.
Yes, and great reading of the play there. She read that cut back by the shooter very well there, Fumi.
Nice strong feed there by Emma Rayner.
And that's good, strong first phase there, and good width on the court, and that's better from Wales. Just to see that structure. And England just really sharp on the, but an error there, sharp on their transition, but they need to take care of the ball once they've earned it. It's understandable, I think, that there'll be some nerves from England. It's a lot of these girls, it's their first cap ever playing for England. I think there's just a couple of players that have a cap already, so understandable there's a few errors to start with.
Nice holding of space there by Georgia Hellerman for Wales.
And good defensive switch there by the 2 England defenders. That's excellent pressure. So they picked up the rotation of the Welsh shooters.
Yeah, Fumi seems to have that down quite well, doesn't she, in terms of them driving that back space?
Yeah.
And how much will these 2 defence have played together before?
Well, one's from London, one's from Manchester, but I think they've had lots of work at England with the coaches there, and they'll have certainly been working on those defensive switches and been encouraged to speak to each other as much as possible to pick up those switches early.
Let's see Charlotte Jennings-Evans converting that, so puts Wales on the board. 6-1 to England so far, but another Welsh turnover. Want to look after this and convert it now.
Yeah, good defensive pressure from Wales and good confidence there to put that ball in over. The shooter had lovely backspace there, Charlotte Jennings-Evans.
Yeah, and good to mix it up, to play the short and the long so that they're not too predictable.
Yes, definitely.
And you spoke about in the first game against Scotland getting that second phase depth, and we saw again there both players coming over the line at the centre pass. Is that a tactic, or is it just confusion or pressure? What do you think it might be?
I think it's perhaps not being that confident on the looking across on the line when they're setting up their centre pass. You really don't want both the wing attack and goal attack over the line together on first phase, because that shuts off your second phase option. But it's also credit to their defence putting that pressure on really to force both of them over.
So Wales in possession again.
Yeah, the Welsh team coming into this, they're not phased by England, and they're taking quite a lot of ball here. It's just a case of whether they can convert it, and that's a fantastic intercept there by England.
Yeah, good use of the outside hand there by Stacey Tankoa to pull that one in and keep it under control. And the drive by Berry Neal just opening up that space for Molly Hole.
Yeah, and that's a really important role for Berry there to take the pressure off the shooter, so she's shooting without pressure. And you can see the England defenders there just hedging and trying to confuse the space for the feeders, but that was good positioning there from the shooter, and they're finding her well.
Charlotte Jennings-Evans doing most of the shooting, but England dropping back on a double on that, and Elise Gallagher coming out and playing out more. Do you think that's a good tactic for them to keep going, to get the ball in a bit easier?
Yeah, I think it's important to keep the defence having to readjust how they play. Another great interception there at the back, and that's quite a few tips they've picked up the circle defence there. So England will have to look at that last ball in. Fair to say that's usually when the nerves happen. It's normally that last ball in that is the one that shows the pressure. So they just need to settle down and just make sure of that last ball.
Oh, beautiful vision, great space there by Elise Gallagher. That puts her on the board, and it is 5-7 at the moment, England leading.
Yeah, and that's good defensive cover. Good change of direction there to cope with the shooter's change of direction by the defence.
Yeah, they're certainly covering that circle well.
Yeah, although that front ball is that's causing the England defenders some trouble. They actually need to come round the body and challenge that front ball.
The Welsh supporters in the crowd getting louder.
Well, this is excellent by Wales so far.
And these are you were talking in the first game against Scotland about having those runs and making sure that they link together rather than just turning one centre pass. And is that something that you think has now built into the game a bit more for Wales?
Yeah, it's crucial for any team to be able to not only score off their own centre pass, but score off the opposition centre pass and develop those runs. And ultimately, the team that does that best will win. So it'll be interesting to see which team settles first in order to be able to develop those runs.
Oh, great cover there by Yasmin Roebuck. Really strong 3-foot mark, turning the ball.
And you can see that's a lovely change of direction, because I was just about to say they were all driving to the same pocket there, England, and the wing attack did well there to cut back Emma Rayner to open up the space to the top. So good movement from her.
Really nice one too as well to get closer to the post. Berry Neal just settles England a little bit with that shot.
Yeah, nice baseline drive as well. They've just looked to send that to the top. You can see England trying to play to those structures, but it's not quite executing at the moment as well as they would like to. It's excellent first phase defending there. And you can see that the England players are all ball side and dominating that front position, which makes it very difficult for Wales. When you're the ball handler, all you're seeing is opposition players in front of you.
Makes the crowd make a noise. No harm done.
And Wales much better in this game for centering the play, where they were down the sidelines in the game against Scotland. They're working a lot harder to centralise the ball, which is why they're able to use both the whole width of the court in this game. It's much, much better.
And do you think they'll have had much time to reflect after the first game coming into this one?
I think they have to be honest. In a tournament where the games come thick and fast, you've got to be able to reflect pretty quickly, take the key points out of your performance and bring the good into your next performance, and have your work-ons as well. So I would expect the Welsh coaching team and the players to have worked hard in between that downtime between games.
England just resetting. If it's not on forward, they're quite happy to just move the ball around the back, and that's really nice patience, isn't it? Yeah,
it's good to see. But similarly here, the Welsh defenders dominating that front position, making it quite difficult. There's good placement there by Berry, though, to find the shooter. Good patience from England.
Yeah, Molly Hole nice and calm under the shot.
Yes.
Which is what you want from your shooter.
Yeah. They tend to be the most laid-back people going, and it's so they can be nice and calm under pressure. That's a great take. Unlucky, just couldn't sort her feet out.
Yeah, Ella Bowman getting great elevation. Bowen, sorry, getting great elevation there, and
and that's really good work by the defensive pair. So Bowen just put that pressure on to allow Fumi to come through the back to pick up the ball. And that's actually very difficult to do as a partnership. So it shows the maturity of their skill level to be able to do that at this age.
And then to do that and then have that strong three-court drive, right, to land on the transverse line. Good rebound position there.
Yeah, great.
Millie Carter.
Yeah, good job, Millie. I've been impressed with her in both games, and she's her body positioning's good for her rebounds, and she boxes out well.
Millie Carter represented Wales in the high jump. That's why she can jump.
Talented young women.
Long ball there through court, finding space. Wow, good quarter.
Yeah, good play there by both sides. It didn't feel like England had scored twice the amount there. It was a good play and a good start for both teams.
Yeah, so 6 goals to 12 at the moment. Wales on 6 and England on 12. And a lot more exciting than potentially, without being disrespectful, we would have expected, knowing that Wales have just played a match and knowing the strength of, in the past of England. Some good play by both teams.
Yeah, good, and I think England did show a few nerves there in the first spell of the first half, but I think they will have worked through that now and be looking, I'm sure the coaches will now be talking about just setting themselves up slightly better positionally, so you can see that they can handle the ball very quickly, and I think they want to get that firing a little bit better to be able to deliver the ball to really put the Welsh defence under pressure.
And if you were the Welsh coach right now, or just put some replays, you would just be watching some replays on the screen now and some highlights of quarter one, and whilst you're watching that, if you were the Welsh coach now, Sam, what would you be saying to your team?
I'd be very pleased with how the defence are picking up ball. I think when they take ball, they need better support to make use of those interceptions though. So just take a breath when they intercept the ball, look for a short option before they then make their transition into attack, because when they work so hard to earn the ball, they need to try and score off those intercepts.
Yeah.
But I think the Welsh coach will be pretty happy with that, given they've played a game already.
They don't actually look that tired, do they?
No.
Superstars.
Yeah, really good. We'll see how they last over the whole game, but certainly a good competition for the first quarter.
A couple of things on social media that we have had through during the day. Joey Nasita says, how good is it to have live stream netball on a Friday night? We completely agree. Llanwit Walking Netball, well done girls, especially our superstar Esme Cornelius. So that was obviously from the Scotland-Wales game.
Yes, you did really well.
We had a brilliant picture from Kimberly Wharton, who had her dog Sky dressed in tartan ready to watch the game on the internet. Good job, Kimberly.
Yeah, I'm now feeling like I failed. I haven't dressed my own dogs up for the Netball Europe. But,
yeah, you just got to bring it more next time.
I know, yeah.
Kay Rayner is also loving the live streaming, so keep those tweets coming. Hashtag NE U17 champs. We would love to hear from you, and we will try and read out as many as we can. As we've already said, later on today we have Emirates versus Scotland at 7 p.m. Emirates obviously winning their first game, and Scotland having unfortunately lost their second game makes that a really crucial game moving forwards, because whoever is fifth placed in this competition will go down to the challenge section next year. So obviously Scotland will be looking to do a good job against Emirates and try and get some points on the board.
Yeah, and I think making it, bringing that relegation sort of aspect to this competition really focuses the minds of the players and the coaches, and it's a great idea. And although it's harsh for those that go down, it gives meaning for those that are trying to get promoted into this championship. So every game matters in this competition.
Absolutely. One last tweet. Gary Burgess, the umpire that is, has put some lovely umpiring today. We agree, Gary. We think the umpiring has been fantastic. And where would we be without our umpires? So we are seeing the squads come back out to court. We'll hopefully give you some update on any changes that have been made. You can see a couple for the Welsh squad.
And that Welsh 3 over, the wall is still working well for them. And you see they're keeping England high up the court, so they've got to work hard to get that depth. But that's a good swing.
And really good vision as well by the centre, just to put that around the 3-foot mark, even though she had a 3-foot mark in front of her.
Yes. Yeah, and the swing is very effective in netball, to use the circle edge to make the defenders turn. There's a good pick up there. Well held. And that's a good front cut. Timing still a little bit out in this England attack. Too many players moving at the same time, but that's a great spot there. And good accurate shooting. Lovely movement there, and great depth on that second phase. That's the difference. That's really difficult to defend when you go that deep.
Just to bring you up to date with some of the changes, moving into the second quarter, Bella Bayliss has come on at centre for England. Yasmin Roebuck has gone to the bench. And we have Molly Hole and Berry Neal just doing an interchange of positions there. So Berry's gone to goal shooter, Molly's gone to goal attack. For Wales, we see Josie Williams entering the game at goal attack. Josie Williams is only 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
And Victoria Rejniak coming on at wing attack. So taking the place of the captain for Wales. Oh, beautiful shot there by Charlotte Jennings-Evans, completely unfazed. It's interesting as well, isn't it, to see that change, that they put Victoria on and taken Macy off. Do you think that's to rest her, or do you think it's credit to Stacey Tankua, who was doing a really good job against the Welsh wing attack?
Yeah, I'm just looking though. I'm not sure if I think she's still on. I'm not sure
she
on
is
that.
Still on.
Yeah.
It's wing defence.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think they're having a good battle there, so I'm glad she's still on. So
apologies for that. Victoria Rejniak has come on at wing defence, not wing attack.
And that's good defensive pressure from England. Good strong man-to-man marking. Again, being ball side and really dominating. But the Welsh moving the ball around nicely. Another good interception from the circle defender Fumi, though, with the pressure in front of her. Defensive unit working well. And that's a lovely front cut. And good confident shooting from Molly Hull.
It's a really nice height on the shot as well, isn't it? Victoria Rejniak just being spoken to there by the umpire, but no caution. So just clearing something up, and that's important, isn't it, for umpires to make sure that they completely understand what's going on.
Yeah. And we just talked about Gary. He's a great advocate of the umpires, having dialogue with the players, letting them know what they're seeing. It gives the player the chance to adapt and do what the umpire wants them to do. So that's good umpiring, just to have that dialogue with players before we get into warnings and cautions.
Really quick through court again by England.
That's good movement from Berry there. Looking to work, good shoot a ball with her fellow goal attack. And the Welsh defence just getting pinged there for their obstruction. They just need to tidy up a little bit in there on that distance.
Just a bit of confusion over whose centre pass it is.
Get there in the end.
It's a good take by Josie Williams there, just nice and strong. When you're playing against defence like this, you've got to make sure you move fully onto the ball, right?
Yes, yeah. Sometimes there's a tendency to want to land too early and wait for the ball to come to you, and that's when the defenders will come through and take that ball. So it's important to keep moving on towards the ball. And that's good through play there from England. That's better from them. That's lovely. Oh, feet just too tight, too high. Good through court until that last ball.
So currently 7 goals to Wales, 18 to England. So Wales will be wanting now to convert this one.
And good pressure, they're pushing them down the sideline. And Wales need to open this up because it's all been down one side. And then you'll end up with that. Well, that was lucky. They need to open up their play, otherwise they're putting themselves under a lot of pressure. Oh, and that's a great drive that opened up Berry underneath the post, and she held her goalkeeper on her back really nicely then, so she could just take that front ball. That's good, clever positioning.
Oh,
good pick up.
That's what you want your teammates to do for you, to have you back, isn't it?
Yes, she read that really well, popped well, really well forwards for that. Let's have a look at this transition through the court. I'm still a little bit muddled on the timing there. And good defensive pressure from Wales. You just have a look at England. We've got players moving at the same time, which is what's causing the confusion.
They're doing a good job of taking the front position though, aren't they, and propping.
Yeah.
Wales just need to get their feet off and round.
Oh, and that's great space again from Neil under the post.
And really good hands by Barry Neil
Yeah.
to keep hold of it.
Yeah.
An obstruction call there against Barry Neil. Nice strong drive again by Macy Morgan.
Yeah, and that's the one where you just need to be a bit more patient. It's an extra ball before that long feed goes in from Wales. Just want your other midi driving to the top of the circle, so you've got that option.
And they've had a couple of those that have worked, so is it now kind of, you know, one has gone, so let's send another one, and actually that's when you need to mix it up.
Yeah, you need to shorten up your game. It's great if you can see that long vision, but as you say, you're only going to really get one or two of those through, and then you need to be disciplined enough to shorten up and do something different.
And Fumi, the captain and the goalkeeper for England, has a very good jump height.
Yeah, she's a great athlete.
Although that was a really nice drive for Jennings. Difference being she committed the player forward then, didn't she, and then moved into the backspace.
Yeah, and I would say she's playing really, really confidently in this game, possibly more relaxed in this game than when she started in the other games. Good to see her using her footwork and her mobility in there.
Charlotte Jennings-Evans is actually vice-captain for Mavericks under-17s. I'm pretty sure that Sash, who is a coach over at Mavericks, is in the crowd somewhere.
She's here, yes. Sash, Shell and Trisha are here from Mavs, so supporting their play as well. I think they've got one in each team.
I'll have to cheer for both then.
Yeah. And that's nice through court. And well seen, that's much better from England. Good flowing through court play, nice and confident. Connections were there.
Emma Rayner gets really good depth as well, doesn't she? On
Yeah,
those drives.
lovely drives. Yeah, nice and confident.
Another long ball through for England.
Yeah, and just starting to find a bit more space on court now. So it's important to remember there's the width but also the depth on the court, and they're exposing Wales a little bit on that.
Wales moving the ball around.
Yeah.
Patient play.
And that was really well worked from Wales under heavy defensive pressure from England. Good patience.
Shooting from further out this game though.
Yes, yeah. Going in at the moment, but are definitely being forced to further out, to shoot from further out.
I know you talked in the first game that Wales played, that when Esme came on, she actually started to play towards post,
Yes.
whereas some of the other players were playing away from post. And do you think that's a key thing that they might be missing at the moment?
Yeah, it's really important to draw your defender away and then cut back to post if you can. Just because, you know, it's obviously much better to be closer to the post when you shoot, particularly if your team's had to work really hard to bring the ball down. They just want a solid feed and shot.
Not sure she knew which foot she'd landed on then.
Yes.
That makes
Thought about it too long.
25 goals coming up for England against Wales 10. The last time that these two met in 2017, the final score was 67-37.
And that was a great defensive take there. Stacey Tanker's having a really strong game, given she's playing the Welsh captain. I'm impressed with both of those players, and she's picking up quite a lot of ball. So unless it's placed really well, she's picking up ball.
Yeah, it's a good matchup, isn't it?
Let's have a look at this transition through the court. Yeah, that's good structure. That's well played by England. Good connecting through the court there.
A lovely shot to finish. Time is called, and that sees Victoria Rejniak going off injured. And we will hopefully have the name of the new player for you as soon as possible.
I'm enjoying watching Emma Rayner as well. She's having a strong change of direction, really strong on her first phase of centre pass as well, giving the centre really good clear option on that first ball out. Let's have a look at the Welsh attack here. Just breaking down under the pressure a little bit. Yeah, and that positioning is excellent from Berry Neal in there. Just really finding great space in there. The timing of her move is very good.
And England finding the circle edge quite easily as well.
Yeah, I think it's because they're prepared to give that long, confident ball because the timing's good. Keeper couldn't quite control the ball there, but a lovely interception by Fumi.
And again, another good challenge by Stacey Tankua.
Yeah, it's a strong defensive trio at the back there.
Although Wales stepping up to the challenge.
Yeah, I've been pleased with the shooting rotation and good confident shooting by both of them. It's good to see.
Josie Williams pops in another. So the new wing defence on is Sienna Wilkinson for Wales.
Yeah, great drive there and good delivery. Good clinical centre pass to goal by England, and Wales will want to try and stop that happening. They need to try and push the England players away from goal because they're getting exposed on that back space at the moment.
Sienna Wilkinson, that's entered the game at wing defence for Wales, is 14 and is the youngest player to play for Wales in this competition. She's also part of the Loughborough Lightning under-17s.
Good prospects all round then.
Her favourite player is Sasha Corbyn. If she can move like Sasha Corbyn, she's on a winner.
She's got a bit of work to do in the gym to be like Sasha Corbyn, but it's a good role model to try and be like.
She's got some good tracking at the moment. Molly Holt taking the ball with a whack and still sinking it.
And England will be pleased with this quarter. They've worked a bit harder, the transition's been a bit smoother, making more of the ball that they've been winning. Oh, that's unlucky there.
Momentum took her with that one, didn't it?
Yeah. So I think Wales at half-time will be talking about how to slow this England attack down and say maybe push them away from the circle edge so that they have to work a little bit harder. At the moment they're exposing them on the forward option and the back option, so they need to decide which they're trying to force and work together as a unit rather than a little bit in isolation at the moment.
And do you think that's, you know, part of the pressure as well of playing England? You kind of get on a one-on-one mentality where you know the pressure's so much and it's that intense. You're so focused on your own player.
Yeah, you still need to remember you're working within that unit as well, because you're stronger working in the unit than working in isolation.
So penalty pass or shot to finish this quarter. And Charlotte Jennings-Evans nails it.
She shots really well in this quarter. She should be really pleased with herself. Both the Welsh shooters have been very, very accurate.
So that quarter leaves us with Wales on 13 and England on 32, which is a 7-20 quarter. So quite a heavy scoring quarter for England.
Yes, and I think the England coaches will be a bit more pleased with that. I think from the England point of view, they'll want those connections to keep developing. They may change some of the players round, but they'll expect that same sort of chemistry with the new players that come on and that confidence to give the ball first time. really made a difference there. That said, I think the Welsh shooters should be very pleased with how they've done when they've had ball. They just need more ball. And I think their rotation is giving the England defence things to think about, but the England shooters might want to think about the England defenders jumping on the Welsh shot or trying to do something to put them off that shot, because I feel like they've got into a bit of a rhythm on their shooting accuracy.
Yeah. We're just going to look at some highlights from that quarter, some replays. Whilst you are watching those, I am joined in commentary with Emma Adams, who is the Welsh Performance Pathway Officer. Fabulous, making sure I got that right. How are you enjoying the game, Emma?
Yeah, good. I think Wales are not giving up. They're putting up a good fight there. It's a very strong England team and a very strong performance, but Wales are sticking in there and trying to stay with them as best they can.
And after watching them against Scotland as well, I mean, obviously you'll have your target games for this competition.
Absolutely. And the performance they put out this morning, great performance against Scotland, really strong performance from the girls, and a really great result. I mean, for today, having the 2 matches back to back with just the lunch break in between wasn't ideal for them. So they had to, come down, ready, prepare, back up again for this game. So that was tough going for them. But to be fair, I think the management had it all organised. They've done really well to try and turn this around to come straight back on after the lunch break.
And we've been talking about some of the players that you've got in Wales. I mean, there's some great talent out on that court. How do you develop these players in Wales, and what goes into making this team that we see out on the court?
Over the past season or so, we've been doing a lot of work into our talent centre programme to try and bring the youngsters through. We're still developing that and working on that, so over the coming seasons we're hoping to see that grow further. We've got talent centres running all over Wales now, and our national coaches will be going out to visit all of these talent centres to make sure they're all developing the same skills, developing what we're calling the Welsh way, the Welsh style of play, and ultimately what we want to see the senior squad in the future, these girls in the senior squad putting that Welsh way into practice on the court.
Yeah, because it's a tough year for you guys in terms of not having the World Cup this year.
Yeah.
But moving past that, what's the focus moving forward? What are you aiming for in terms of your senior squad? What's your aims in terms of your development squads?
Yeah, like you say, tough year not having the tough year not having the Worlds. Obviously, we've got to look to the future past that. And like you say, I think the focus now comes down to the younger players coming through, and our target games coming to Scotland and our 21s in October. I'm working on those squads ready for the longer term aims.
And this is a fabulous start, right? I mean, coming out with that scoreline, considering 2017, you're hitting a draw, still second, but on goal difference, and then to come out with a performance like that.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that was a great performance this morning. A 9-goal difference, it's a convincing victory for the girls this morning, and I think they're justifiably proud of it. But, I mean, obviously we get this game under our belts as well today. We've got two other games this weekend that are going to be very hard fought. We watched Emirates beat Northern Ireland this morning. So I don't think any of the games this weekend are a given. And I think the girls know that, and they know that they've got to come out strong tomorrow and Sunday before they can start thinking about where they come all over this tournament. Yeah.
Exciting.
Very, very exciting times.
Future.
Yeah, definitely.
And both you and England, to be fair, have had new sponsors this year. So England have got Nike, and you've got O'Neill's.
Yeah, we have brilliant sponsorship with a deal with O'Neill's. All the kit, the girls are looking very smart in their dresses, both the red and the black today. And fair play. All of the kit, looking very lovely.
And on social media, national squad seems very exciting moving forwards. And I know Celtic Dragons isn't linked to your national squad as much anymore, but still some great performances there as well.
Yeah,
with some
definitely.
Welsh
Really
players.
stronger season from the Celtic Dragons. Promising, like you say, it's not all Welsh players this season, but it feeds into our Welsh squad and it helps develop the players that are in there, which all feeds back into our national squad. There's obviously all the work going on behind the scenes with our senior squad at the same time. They've got a bit of a low profile at the moment, but hopefully we'll see more of them over the coming months.
And seeing other players as well from the Welsh squad, you know, like Sam, who's just been doing commentation as well, has got Georgia Rose. She's having a great season as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, this must be really pleasing from a Welsh perspective.
Yeah, definitely. All of that with the players playing elsewhere, not in the Celtic Dragons, but all of that feeds back into the Welsh squad, and it's all experience and development for those. And like I said, feeds into the players that are back home, training hard, ready for Netball Europe in October.
Well, fabulous. It's been great talking to you and very exciting seeing what's coming up for Wales now and in the future. And we look forward to your many successes.
Thank you very much. Cheers now.
Thanks so much. So, end of that quarter, we did have down as 13:32, but seems to be a slight change now, 13:31. Not sure how that's changed, so apologies for that, but the confirmed score is actually 13 goals to Wales and 31 goals to England. Also, a change that just came through for us is Lauren Francis was on at goal defence towards the end of that quarter for Wales. So she moved from wing defence to goal defence. So the whistle's gone for 30 seconds now for the players to get back onto court. What do you predict for this next quarter?
I think there'll be some changes. It does look like England have made some changes and Wales already have, so I think the coaches will want to get some new caps on and get those nerves out of the way for some of the other England players, but looking for that same confidence that they had in the second quarter to deliver the ball. And the Welsh, I think, to keep working well on that defence and try to earn as much ball as they can. And they need to be trying to shut down that depth that England were finding against them.
Quick early goal.
Yes, and good tracking here again. Yeah, and that's much quicker onto the body by Fumi. But lovely placement between the shooters. That's perfect ball placement. That's nearly impossible to intercept that ball.
To bring you up to date with the changes moving into this quarter, we see Emma Thacker coming on as goal shooter for England. Rosie Bartlett coming on as goal attack. Berry Neal moves to wing attack. Yasmin Roebuck comes on as wing defence, and Ellie Harding goes to goal defence for England. For Wales, we have Elise Gallagher going to wing attack, and Victoria Reginak comes back on at wing defence. So the changes you expected to see.
Yes, I think all of this England squad, every player within it is very strong, as is the same with Wales, and I think both coaches will want to just see what these players can offer. Let the England players, as it's their first game, get their nerves out of the way and get some court time so that they can continue to build in this game, but through the championship. And Wales have obviously had a game already, so they'll be looking to rest legs and try some new combinations out as the game develops.
Just on social media, some cheering from back home for Rosie Bartlett, or back from her home, Fiona Hughes and Scarlett Hughes, wishing her the best of luck. And the shooter settling into it really nicely. Yeah,
she's a really strong player. I saw her play for Surrey Storm a couple of weeks ago, and she's a very dominant player. Emma Thacker and another exciting England player. Really strong onto the ball and good at goal shooter and goal attack. So there's loads of depth in this England squad, which is great.
Nice drive out there by Elise Gallagher.
Yeah, and just having a look at this, she's got a good footwork there just to get around her defender. And it was actually a lovely ball in. She'll have to have another go.
And Lily started the game at goal attack, so
yeah,
a player that can play goal attack and wing attack.
Good versatility and feeding beautifully, actually. I think the Welsh have fed much better in this game than they did against Scotland, so finding their feet in the Championship.
Good tip there by Lauren Francis.
Good screen there. Oh, but a miss. It's probably worth pointing out as well that a large number of this England squad come from Manchester. I think 6 or 7 of them are from Manchester, and that's testament to the grassroots clubs up in Manchester that are producing these players. And there's such strong clubs up there that are creating that competition within Manchester that's driving up the quality. And those grassroots coaches should be really congratulated on just producing top players year on year. Same with some of the clubs down south like Western Park Blades, Turnford, New Campbell. You know, they're regularly producing players for top class performances. So it's really great that those clubs are in good shape.
Just miscommunication there between Georgia Hellerman and Josie Williams.
Yeah, good to see that shape. Great timing under pressure from the Welsh, and that's a fantastic interception by the Welsh team. Let's see what they can do with it though. I'd like to see them get off this sideline, centralise the ball. That's better. Just a bit of fatigue there perhaps on handling that ball, and that's a shame because that was a well won intercept, but just not punishing England.
It's good to see them still fighting though, because it must be hard. You know, 16:37, potentially soon to be 16:38. That's hard scoreline to keep pushing.
Yeah, and I think it's important that the Welsh don't really worry about the score, and nor should England either. They should be focusing on the processes, that they're trying to perform their best and do what their coaches are asking them to deliver, and the score will take care of itself. So it's important not to be too score driven, but really think about the structures you're trying to give, get your basics nailed. That was a lovely pivot off there to take that ball.
And another beautiful feed from Elise Gallagher as well.
Great connection there between the two of them.
Do you think it helps being a goal attack to be able to give those feeds?
Well, I think you sort of understand where you want the ball. So yes, although very different things if you're used to receiving more ball, to actually then turn into a feeder can be a challenge, but she's doing both roles very well. And that's more confident feed into Thacker Shooter.
Strong take, but a good challenge again from Lauren Francis. And you talked about her in the first game as well, that, you know, in that last quarter she came out with so many turnovers.
Yeah, really tenacious player. Quite fiery, which I think is really good to see. You know, really wants to win the ball, really hunting ball and looking for it for her team as much as she can.
Interestingly, her favourite player is Nia Jones, so if you're going to look up to anyone for turning ball and being tenacious, then Nia Jones is probably one of the best at that.
Yes. Certainly not afraid to go for the ball.
No, she's not quite as loud as Nia. Oh, I don't know. That call was quite loud.
And I'd like to see Wales just send that to the top rather than get very narrow. See, England have forced them very narrow here, and they really need to open up this play.
Seeing Georgia Hellerman at the moment trying to run off a little tweak on her ankle.
Yeah, just look at the tumble there. Good quick delivery of the centre pass. And that's really good, swift play, nice and direct. Very difficult to defend.
Yeah, and the confidence that Bella Bayliss has to just turn and give that ball to Emma Thacker.
Yeah.
there we're seeing the change of
Yeah, I
Georgia
think
Hellman
she
coming
did
off her
hurt.
ankle. Hopefully it's not too big an injury. We hope that she recovers quickly.
Oh, it's a great take. That's really good tracking, and then the ability to come off the body to take the ball as well. That's a very skillful thing to do.
That does see Sienna Wilkinson come back on to court to replace Georgia Hellerman. Just setting the penalty to where the umpire would like it.
Yeah, and a good 3 over there by England, in fact, to put that pressure on.
Caution there given out to Yasmin Roebuck.
And again, that didn't quite come off, but that was really good defending there, where she isolated the ball carrier and then dropped back onto the player that the Welsh were trying to deliver the ball to. And again, that's quite mature defending for under 17 England side, to be able to connect those types of moves. They're sort of what we'd expect our senior players to be doing, and to have that understanding to drop back is really, really good.
Really good baseline drive there by Rosie Bartlett. And confidence to just put that shot up.
Yeah, nice shooting. Yeah, it's good to see that movement there, creating a little bit of rotation. And just a misconnection. I do like this sideline, the Welsh. Well done for opening it up. That's what they need.
Again, just caught, sometimes stood. They've just got to take that extra step onto the ball, right?
Yes. Well read again by Fumi Fadejo. That's it. England need to tidy up a little bit here. A few penalties around the edge of the circle, which takes the pressure off. It's much harder to defend that shot and the shooting work when you've got penalties outside the circle.
A beautiful shot, however, by Josie Williams, keeping the score now to 20 goals to Wales, 44 to England.
Yeah, that's another strong centre pass to goal for England. I'd like to see a little bit more defensive pressure on by Wales. Yeah, and great tracking by the England defenders. That's excellent pressure. The handling out the back was a little bit ropey.
A little bit of ping pong going on to you, to me.
They're connecting very well. But that was excellent. The England goalkeeper just being off the body and just confusing the space for the feed, and able to put that pressure on the feeders is very, very effective. And it's good to see that she's able to change the way she's defending, sometimes being on the body, sometimes being off the body.
We were talking before as well about the exposure of some of these players. So Fumi is plays in the London Pulse age groups.
Yes.
And we've talked about the fact that we've got 3 Welsh players in the NPL system. How much do you think that exposure to that level of competition makes a difference to these players?
I think it's really important, just that regular training and the competition in those matches. They're tight games, they're really exciting games to play in as well, and they're a good opportunity for players to play at a higher level. So the more players that Wales can get into those pathways, the better it will be. There's no question that the coaching in the pathways are very good as well to bring these players on. So yeah, it's the pathways are there to develop players, and we want as many good players in those pathways as possible.
Millie Carter, interestingly, is hearing some gossip earlier, has played against Georgia Rowe before in Wales, and was given a bit of a pep talk about what a good job she did against Georgia in that certain game. So, you know, take that into this game. And that's also good exposure, isn't it, for those, if the Wales players are back in sort of Wales and playing in local clubs, that they can then get that exposure.
Absolutely, and the more you play against somebody, then the less mythical they become, and that's certainly been true of our England senior players playing in Australia and in Australian clubs. We don't fear anybody now, and it's the same, you know, if you're familiar with your opposition, then you're much more confident to play against them. So the more exposure you can have against other top players, then that's all good news for your own development.
Another quick transition through from a massive jump by Fumi. Nice quick release from Rosie.
Yeah.
Down to Berry Neal.
Yeah, and the Welsh need to just step up on that. They're getting caught between dropping off and man-to-man, so they're getting caught sort of in between that style of marking, which is why England are able to find the goal so easily at the moment in attack. It's fair to say there's probably a little bit of fatigue creeping in for Wales now.
Oh, beautiful.
Great shape. Yeah.
Well done, Ellie Harding. I think for both teams, all players that have come on have done a really good job. There's not been sort of any weak links.
No, and that's good to see both squads really having good benches as well. It's really important to have the people that you can bring on to be as strong as the ones you start with. And good step change there from Emma Thacker to change her position so that makes it hard for the keeper to get her footwork to get round for that ball.
Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with us on Twitter, just use the hashtag NEU17champs. Jess Chamberlain has tweeted in to say, so proud of you, Rosie Bartlett. Keep up the good work from Truro School Netball. It's good to hear so many of you tuning in. Bobby Wiley said, Meg Evans, Chester Netball Club are proud of you. And Sharon Walters, Lauren Francis, a great game in defence.
So just have a look at this England back unit, just tracking the Welsh players, making it really hard. But that was an absolutely fantastic pinpoint feed into the shooter, and she's got that roll off so beautifully timed. It's really good to see, good skills.
And looking at the footwork of Fumi as well, but she didn't turn her hips then, did she? She tried to track backwards. Do you think that makes a difference? Yeah,
she needs to just change up her angle a little bit in order to be able to go back and up. And you'll hear lots of defenders always wanting to improve their back and up skills, and that's not easy when you've got a shooter that times that move really well.
Penalty pass or shot, and so we have third quarter time. Wales 21 and England are sat on 54. So going into the last quarter, you've got your last team talk before the last play of the match. If you're the England coach right now, what kind of things do you want to tweak? What do you want to make better, and what's working quite well?
I think I'd be looking for them to really push on in terms of their performance, not to take their foot off the pedal. Again, ignore what the score is, go back to 0-0. I'd like to see their percentage of centre pass to goal to be pretty high. I think it probably is, but they'd want to keep meeting that target to have good centre pass to goal. And in terms of picking up the ball, maybe just being off the ball, off the body a little bit more, I think to give Welsh the impression that there's more space than there is, and I think they'd actually win more ball. They're almost a little bit too tight, and the Welsh are doing very well at being patient, building that attack round. I'd want to give the illusion of a bit more space, and you've got a lot of players on there that can intercept ball. From the Welsh side, I think that they still are working hard, but I'd want them to be working a little bit more effectively, so making sure they're clear on what style of defending they're putting on together as a unit. So are they going to put a 3 over on? Are they going to push everybody high? Are they going to push everyone deep? What are they doing as a group to put as much pressure on England as they can?
Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with us, tell us your thoughts on any of the games so far. And, you know, on this one, we'd love to hear from you. Hashtag NEU17 champs. We're just going to have a look at some replays now for you from that quarter. Whilst you're watching those replays, just to give you some of the tweets that have been coming in. Eagles netball, great shooting at Charlotte Evans 29, proud of you. Also, Denise Egan from the first match this morning, I just think you know Denise Egan quite well, said nip and tuck matchup so far.
Yeah, Denise will be, as you know, she's the chair of England selectors, and she's got a great interest in all the young talent coming through, not only in England but in Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland. So I'm sure she's watching the matches and will be taking note of who's performing well.
Another tweet in earlier from Tammy Lynch and Annette Welch saying the same thing. Well done to the Perth girls. That was after the Scotland-Wales match. And a lot of real positives about how tight the competitions have been this morning and how exciting the games have been.
Yeah, and that's great. That's great for Europe as a whole. We want this competition to create those to-the-wire matches and have really competitive games, and that's what it's all about. So it's great that we've had some really competitive games today, and I think the one after this will be very tight as well. So a good first day.
You can always catch up with the any of the games and the interviews with players throughout the weekend on Netball Europe YouTube channel. Also, the Netball show will have the interviews of the coaches afterwards. A good supporter of netball.
Yeah, they've always got great netball content, so it's great to have them showing an interest in this competition as well and backing it, as well as Super League and Prem matches.
And plenty more on their podcast as well to keep you entertained. So once these games are finished at 8:30 tonight, hook yourself up to the podcasts.
You haven't had enough. There's always more.
Never.
Oh, and that's a fantastic take.
There have been more changes. Once we get confirmation of those changes, we will let you know what they are.
Oh, that's good, strong play. And that's exactly what the England coaches will have been saying. Come out and push on. Really nail this centre pass to goal. Really be confident on delivering the ball. It doesn't matter who's on. We want the same level of performance. So they'll be pleased with this start.
And you were talking about performance indicators in the game for Wales-Scotland and about those centre pass to goal percentages of being 70 to 75%?
Yes, yeah, I think that's really what you'd be looking at in terms of looking for a top class performance, those types of percentages. The same with live turnover to goal and restart turnover to goal. They're all sort of key indicators that the performance analysis will be looking at to feed that information back to the coaches. And I'm sure all the teams will have certain targets they're trying to meet. But centre pass to goal is a crucial one. That was a great leap there on the shot.
Performance analysts are working hard as well, so Pippa for England, I'll find out her name in a minute.
Yeah, she's fantastic performance analyst. Most of them are. They're very dedicated. They work all sorts of funny hours to get the statistics through for the coaches. They're often working late into the night, so everything's ready. So when everyone else is having their downtime, they're actually working really hard. So, and performance analysis has become a really key tool in netball performance. So great to have Pippa here as well with England, and I'm sure the other squads have their own analysts here.
Yeah, Kira Davis is the Welsh analyst. Great shot there.
Lovely shooting. You see England here have got both players over on that first phase line, and that's what causes the problem. So Wales were able to shut down that second phase ball. It's such a critical part of the attacking play.
And how do you play out of that if you've got both players over?
You either need your shooter to come out the top and release that pressure, or you've got to physically turn your body round and send the ball back and then create some rotation in this top third. But the ideal thing is for your wing attack and goal attack to be looking across at each other before the centre pass, so that they know which one's going to take first phase ball. Well up by the Welsh defence. That's good challenging under there.
Yeah, Millie Carter has stayed in that goalkeeper position.
Yeah, rightly so. She's done very well. Just hitting the deck there, but she looks like she's made a quite stern stuff. She's up and she's fine.
That's what you want from your defence.
Yeah.
Well, not to hit the ground.
No,
to
bounce.
To get back up, yeah.
Yeah, and good movement from the Welsh attack, again using that width. Again, you can see they're all moving a little bit at the same time under the pressure from the England defence, and there the mistake comes. You need to just stagger that movement just a little bit.
She's getting a bit lateral as well, not really punching for that depth.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's fatigue. Just becomes like running in sand when you're on your fourth quarter of your second match. It's hard going.
So confirmation of those changes for you. Elise Gallagher goes back to goal attack for Wales. Georgia Hellerman on at wing defence. Victoria Regniak goes on to goal defence, and Catherine Titley to wing attack. For England, Rosie Bartlett has moved to wing attack, and Grace Rimmer has come on at goal attack.
Oh, great take by Fumi. It was really well read. The ball was hanging in the air for too long there on that over. She was able to adjust her feet and take that intercept, and good transition down the court through to a goal for England. I'm just seeing if the wing attack and goal attack are communicating slightly better here. Good pressure by Wales to force the error. So let's just have a look at their transition down the court. England are pushing them wide again, so they're still on that sideline. Somebody needs to centre the ball.
Okay, listen to you.
A rarity. Definitely a few tired legs out there for Wales now, and they need to just help each other by shortening up the play. They're asking a lot of each other by putting balls over. They need to help each other out.
So that sees England 62, Wales 22. A really quick turn and release there for Grace Rimmer.
Yeah, and good basics, you know, just the things that we talk about week in, week out at club and at training, you know, getting your body round fully so you can see the whole court, keeping your release point up so that you can deliver the ball quickly. All of those basic things help you just deliver the ball that much more quickly and cleanly in attack. And you can never do enough of those basics. Good contesting.
Team contact there against Rosie Bartlett.
Yeah, and that's again the England defence are causing that ball to be lifted into the circle, and that hang time is just like a present for Fumi at the back. What the Welsh need to do is have short front ball so that she's got to use her feet to come round and earn those intercepts.
And again, continuously doing that short front ball is actually quite tiring, right?
It is. And sometimes you've just got to grind that out to get yourself a couple of goals back, to stop the flow.
good pressure there by the Welsh defence.
Yeah, good.
Georgia Hellerman.
Good double up there on the centre pass defence. Let's just have a look and see if they shorten. So that's better. It's just good short ball. Very difficult to intercept. And they're just not that patience to shorten up, and trying to go over the top of that England defence is always going to be difficult.
Such a quick transition as well for England.
Yeah, oh, great play again. I've been really impressed with the keeper for Wales, Millie. That's better, that's better. So those balls are very difficult to intercept. You just keep playing it short and then pop. Just that last one lifted, and Fumi is having a good time down there at the moment with those lifted balls.
And again, you know, this is the fantastic exposure, isn't it, for these girls at this age group. Looking at the fact, you know, Sienna Wilkinson and Josie Williams, both in the attacking lineup at the moment for Wales, both 14 years of age.
Yeah.
Have got many years at under 17s, let alone beyond that, and having this exposure now and being under that pressure to have to move the ball around and make those errors now is great experience.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good strong take under defensive pressure there. She did very well. She was actually pushed off the ball as she went to turn. Good strong core.
We talk about those two hands, don't we? And that's a classic example of where if you've got two hands, you pull it in, you make it yours.
Yeah. Georgia Rose sick of me saying that at club. Yeah, that's a nice transition. So again, the Welsh just getting caught between not marking man-to-man and not covering the space and getting exposed on that, and England quite rightly punishing them for that indecisiveness.
And how do you stop those long feeds coming in? I mean, like that.
I'd want my keeper dominating the front position and then everybody else pushing high, so you create a bit of a vacuum in this top part of the third, and then that causes doubt for the ball handler.
So by pushing high, just to clarify, you mean push
away? Yeah, so you push away to the other end, and then what you try to do is have a big void in the middle where there's just nowhere to go. So it puts pressure on the player that's trying to pass the ball. Nice work again from the Welsh shooters.
That makes it 24 to Wales and 67 to England. Wales centre pass.
Again, Welsh on this sideline. I think they're going to have to work really hard to stop doing that through the course of this championship. They're allowing the teams they play against to push them onto that sideline. And when they centre the ball, Wales, they're absolutely beautiful, their attacks, and they need to do more of that.
And Emma Thacker takes that ball in the air beautifully, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's very, very strong.
So 4 minutes left in this game. Quite a convincing lead at the moment by England.
Yeah, I think the England coaches will be pleased. I think they've looked like they've got everybody on the court today. Nerves will be out of the way. It's a good solid start. I think they'll be looking for improvements in terms of some of their errors. They'll probably want to cut down the error rate, but I think a good positive start by these young England players, and they can be pleased with their first caps for most of them, and good performance to start the championship.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about them being seasoned, but actually there's only 2 of them that have had previous caps, right?
Yeah, so, you know, the rest are all new. They've got all the same nerves as everybody else from every other nation, so that's really good.
Great take again by Millie.
Yeah, and she's picking up any ball that isn't placed well, she's really on to, and she's kept that tenacity up through the whole of the game.
So for your role, any exciting players coming up that you're keeping an eye on? Or can we not discuss that now?
I'm always looking. I'm very sad. I sort of scour the world in the dark hours of the night when everyone's asleep. I'm looking at netball. But what I can say is that this championship's great to see talent in all the countries represented, and that can only be a good thing for the future of the sport. And we want all the countries having tight games and people really challenging England as well. England want to challenge at the world level, so we need Europe to be as strong as possible.
Just holding time there to get the ball back. Umpires making sure that we play 60 minutes, which is good umpiring.
Oh, just that lack of patience, and the England defence set that up. They just tempted that over ball, which is good to see. They have actually come off the body a little bit, and they are tempting those balls in, which is why they've had a bit more success on turning the ball over.
Can't play football.
No.
It's a nice drive there by Victoria Regniak. That's better by Wales.
Yeah. Good shot to finish it off to reward the defender as well.
Again, I'm amazed sometimes at the off-the-ball stuff that the umpires pick up on. My eyes are still down where the ball is.
I'm watching the ball. Have to have eyes in the back of their heads, umpires. And again, great defensive pressure there. Not really any easy options for Wales. Let's see if they nail this last pass. Again, unable to just finish off under that defensive pressure from England. And a really quick transition through the court, although shooter's getting pulled for some sort of contact. I can't see from here.
.30 seconds left in this game.
And good to see this contesting right to the end, really trying to win ball.
The pressure, arms over that ball is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's good to be resilient, just push on till the very last second. That was nice movement there from the Welsh wing attack.
Oh, good
Let's see if they
drive
can
by
finish with a nice shot.
Oh, unlucky there for Charlotte, but I mean she's done such a good job throughout that game. So that is it here for this game. Final score, Wales 26, England 72. What a great game.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be delighted, England, with that performance, you know, the first one of the game, first one of the tournament.
Yeah, I think they will be, and England, we know they've got good depth, and we know that they always come into this championship possibly as favourites, but at the end of the day it's always new girls coming in, and it's their first championship and their nerves, and they have that extra pressure of being the favourites for the competition. So I think to come out with a win like that, with some very good passages of play, both attacking and defensive, they can be really pleased with themselves. Equally, I think Wales, they've had a good day. They've won their first game. That game would have been critical for them to win this morning. And then they've put some really good passages of play out in this game as well. So I think Wales have lots to be confident about going into tomorrow.
Yeah, completely agree. What an exciting few games we've had, and it's not over yet, so don't go anywhere, because next up we have for you at 7 o'clock Emirates versus Scotland. Now, bearing in mind Emirates won their first game, Scotland lost their first game, and that might be really crucial as to who stays and who goes in terms of the fifth place position for next year.
Yeah, it's absolutely probably Scotland's most important game now this evening, and they've got to find some energy from somewhere, and it will. Both teams have played, but it'll be interesting to see who's recovered better, how they're feeling, how confident they are. So that's going to be a smashing match.
Many thanks to Netball Europe, our sponsors Inspire Sport, Yorkshire and Humberside Netball, QTV Sports, and of course you guys for watching at home. Show up, Make sure you tune into the next games. We've got more fabulous games over the weekend for you, so we shall see you soon.